I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars.
I don't believe we've begun with a disclaimer in a little while, so here we are again. I've got a bit of grot. We'll record for as long as the voice lasts. I think that's probably the easiest.
We'll get as far as we can. We apologise in advance if this episode ends in a shambles.
Yeah, apologise for any coughs, splutters, pops, bangs, any of the above.
Any of that sort of thing. Yeah, it's not a technical fault. It's him.
Yeah, no, that's it. And do you know what? If it starts, it's going to be difficult to stop, and I cannot be asked to edit it out.
Well, it wouldn't be the first episode to descend into chaos at the end. So
no, absolutely not, So this week, we don't have too much in the way of craziness from Jag. That's coming next week. So
we're holding ourselves back for next week, aren't we? Because that's going to be just I don't know. Anyway, yeah,
there's been a lot of talk about it, and I'll tell you what. I've gone from being flat out worried to a mixture of worried and excited.
I know what you mean.
Which is nice. It's got its air of possibility about it, isn't it?
It does have the air of possibility. There is a chance, slight though it may be, that this whole thing may turn out to be a stroke of genius.
Yeah, that's probably the shred of hope we're clinging to. But you never know. You never know. It has got everyone talking. The one thing it's done is got everyone talking. Yeah.
So,
it has, and I'm genuinely interested in this car now.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't look like that picture that somebody put together.
Yeah, let's hope it's not entirely photoshopped. But like you said about Harry being very positive about it.
Harry's very positive, and he's seen it. So, yeah.
And there's been a few other people who've seen it or have spoken to people who've seen it and are also quite positive. So
yeah.
You never know.
Maybe they are going to pull a rabbit out of that hat.
Well, you never know. Judging by it, though, it does look like it might be a square hat, but we'll see.
Yeah, one of those sort of tall Victorian hats, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. We do have a topic for this evening, but before I get to it, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping / fact correction.
Oh, please do.
And it's not me correcting us; Chris is correcting us.
Oh, what did we get wrong this time?
Now, do you remember when we were discussing the BMW M1?
I do. Yes,
yeah.
I brought it up.
You did. It was our homologation specials episode.
It was in my list of homologation specials. Yes, that's correct. Yes, we did.
And it was in my list for you as well, which is perfect.
Yes.
So we were speculating that was the only mid-engine BMW.
We did. Yeah, we weren't 100% confident of that, but we thought that was the case.
We were wrong.
Yes.
The very recent BMW i8 was mid-engined.
It was. We stand corrected. Yes. It was the only mid-engined Beamer for quite a long time.
Yeah. We forgot the i8, which...
We did.
Yeah. Despite its visuals...
People do, don't they?
Despite its visuals, it is quite forgettable.
That is a problem, isn't it? That is a problem. Because you could say that it could potentially be a future classic.
Oh, you see what you did there?
I do.
You've segued.
It did.
Seamless.
It did. It was a beautiful thing to observe that.
Yeah. Yeah, you slipped it into second there. It was nice. Yeah.
It's better than forcing it into reverse, which is what we normally do.
Yeah. Yeah, Mythbusters proved that wasn't a good idea at speed.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
No, you make a right old mess of it. However, that is what we're going to be tackling. That is our topic for this evening.
That is our topic for tonight.
We mentioned
yes.
that it's coming. And here it is.
Yeah,
so
we've got there, finally.
We've each got a list of what we think. This is pure speculation on our part.
Yeah, based on no industry knowledge whatsoever.
No, this is true.
Certainly no financial acumen, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I've got my list. I've got 5 on my list.
Yeah, I've got 6.
Okay. Right. So you've got 6. So I suggest that you begin.
Okay, I can do that. Now, this first one is it's one of it's the one on the list I'm not 100% confident of, but I've popped it on the list anyway because I think there's a good chance that one day the world will cotton on.
Go on then.
And it is the Rover 75.
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
No, I don't suppose you were.
But
because I think it stands a chance. Either that or the MG ZT version, which is kind of the same car, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Especially if you can find a 260, which is the Mustang V8 one, but they are incredibly rare. And they're almost a bit too rare to be a modern classic. I think a modern it needs to be in a certain number of numbers, otherwise it's just rare.
Yeah. I think that's not a bad shout there, actually.
Because it was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
But it was actually quite a good car, which I think is borne out by the fact you still see quite a lot.
They were actually quite good. You are correct.
Yeah, I think they were. We've all driven one, I think.
Yeah. Well, we say we all have. Me and you have.
Yes, we have. Certainly, we both. Yes.
So, hang on. We touched on a Rover 75. Was it potentially last week when we were talking about platforms of cars? And you were talking about it having a transmission tunnel.
Even though it was front-wheel drive.
Now, this sat in my head, and it's interesting you brought Rover 75s up because I thought the big engined, the V8 ones, had rear-wheel drive. Certainly
the Mustang, the 260, MG ZT 260, was rear drive. But the speculation, because when it first came out, it was front-wheel drive only. Because there was no V8 one at first. And everybody thought, well, that's a bit weird. Why have you done that? Which is what led to the speculation that it was based on a BMW 3 Series. Although, in fact, it never was.
No, there is a lot of suggestion that it is related to an E46.
Yes, but I don't think those that really know them underneath say there's really not much evidence for that.
No, which I think you're completely correct. I think the most likely thing that they shared was the one relation was the diesel engines, because the diesels were BMW engines.
Yes, but I think the car as a whole, I don't think came from a BMW platform.
No, I don't believe so.
It was entirely Rover, overseen by BMW, of course, but I think it was entirely right, and I think it was very of its time. Launched, I believe, at the Birmingham Motor Show against the Jaguar S-Type, so everybody was in full National Trust mode, full retro, and and 75 styling akin to P5, P6. There's elements of both in its design.
I actually quite like it. Still to this day, I quite like it.
I do. I think it's a really attractive car. I always found it comfortable. It was nice to drive. Made quite a good noise. I thought it's a good car. It didn't help them, unfortunately.
No, not at all.
But certainly the early one, the later ones, the styling started to go off a bit. But the earlier ones,
original unmolested,
original design,
lovely.
It's a really good looking car.
Yeah,
and they're not falling apart like the Rover 25 did. Those have just disappeared.
Yeah,
cannot find a 25 now, but the 75 there's still quite a lot about, and the estate version.
Yeah, they're still kicking them out.
The Tourer.
Nice.
Prices currently, when I had a quick look on Auto Trader, you can actually get them from as little as £900 now.
Well, there you go. That's the true bargain end of Future Classic.
That is the true bargain end, and they go all the way up to about £5,000, and there's sort of everything in between. So certainly price wise, they're still rock bottom. And all versions of trim, all different engine types, the 2.5 litre V6, the connoisseur trim, manual, automatic, loads of choice. Estate or saloon.
Nice.
I think that in years to come, and it was the last. Is it fair to say it was the last decent car they produced? Because everything after that, it all started to go a bit downhill there, especially when Project Drive came in.
Yeah, you sort of, when you say everything after that, you're like, wasn't much really.
There wasn't much after that. No, I mean it did cling on for a few years, 5-6 years, I think, until it was really knackered. When were the last Rover 75s? 2005.
Yeah.
So 5 years, and it was about done. And yes, its sales were always something in the shadow of the Jag S-Type, which lived on much longer. But yeah, I think it's possible. It's possible. It's not going to be the top of anyone's list, apart from mine, apparently. Although mine aren't in any particular order. But yeah, I think it could go.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just did a little bit of Googling, and I think like anything that Rover produced after that was we know was the City Rover, which that doesn't count.
Oh, that was just the final nail in the coffin when they did that.
And the Streetwise.
Oh dear, yes, there was one of those on Tasty Classics this week. If you watch that channel,
but yeah, that's your lot.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
And of that era, it was the last gasp of Rover, and I think for that reason, it could be a future classic.
Yeah, that's a good show. Good show. Well done you. I wouldn't have thought of that. I might have gone for a probably quite obvious one here.
Okay. Sorry.
Whereas your one was a bit left field, where this more, one, because they're still reasonable to buy, but they will go, guaranteed. Mark 1 Audi TT.
That's a very good shout. Yes, I think they probably will. Because again, much maligned for being a hairdresser's car, but actually I think now is being recognised as what a really good car it was.
Yes. Yeah, really good car. Like you could get yourself, you could be in there sort of, you'd be around the sort of $2,000 to $3,000 mark. Yeah.
It's pretty reasonable for what you can get.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That. Yeah.
Get yourself the proper one. Get yourself the 3.2 V6.
Yes.
Quattro. Yeah. Away you go.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's a very good shout. I wouldn't have thought of that. Yeah, that's a really good shout.
I would honestly go. I would see. It probably wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't hurt to have one. The only thing I would say is we go full Quentin Wilson here. Just be mindful of rust.
Yeah, they were a bit prone to that. Well, again, I mean, same applies to the 75, doesn't it? So, yes, check under those sills.
Quite.
Yes. Yes, they can be a bit rotty if they've not been looked after. Yeah. Not in short supply at the moment, I wouldn't imagine.
No, not at all. Yeah, you can get, like I said, they're in that sort of price point. You're looking at £2,000. You're looking at really ropey.
Yeah.
3.5, much more feasible.
Yeah.
But probably quite leggy on the miles. But yeah, there's lots to choose from. Get them now before they're gone.
I think that's a very fair shout. Yeah, I wouldn't have considered that, but I think, yeah, they're quite popular as track cars these days as well, if you want to go that route with them.
Yeah, I just think 3.2 V6 Quattro manual, get it in a nice colour, bosh. Wait, yeah.
Jobs are good. Yes. It's fair. It's a fair point. It's a good shout. Wouldn't have considered that, but that's a good shout. Yeah.
Right, where are you taking us next? That one felt clear cut.
Okay, I'm going to get a really obvious one out the way.
Okay.
There were quite a few I could have chosen here, and I agonised over which one to choose. But I have plumped for the Jaguar XJR, the X308 variant, which is all of our favourites. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's all right with me.
Yeah.
Good choice.
4-litre supercharged V8. Ran, I think, from 1998 to 2003, I think, in that shape.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Still 2, 3, 4 grand for one. Now you got to watch it. They are very prone to being quite rotty. But yeah, they're out there for that money.
God, that's all right money, isn't it?
It is. They're out there. I mean, I would suggest probably 5, 6, or 7 grand for a decent one. I think, the lower end of it, like you were saying about the Audi, the lower ends are gonna need a bit of work. But they have definitely not gone yet, I think. And I could have chosen an XKR, an S-Type R, my personal favourite, as we know. Any of those, but I think if we're talking a sort of more mass market modern classic, I think the XJR will be the one that people would go for. Maybe the XKR, the X100 XKR, but the XJR a bit more usable, having the rear seats and the big boot.
Yeah, like that. I think that's really good because it's going to be such a good car. That
I'm surprised they haven't gone bonkers already, but they haven't. They're still hanging on in there at the lower end of the market. The next car on, which of course was the first all aluminium bodied one, so you don't have to worry quite so much about the rust. Those are beginning to climb in price, but the earlier ones, the X308s, which I think for my money is a better looking car.
It's. Do you know what? It's something. It's the vertical proportions of the 350 versus the 308. It's a really weird thing to say, but I agree entirely.
I know what you mean. The 308 is just a little bit lower, a little bit kind of sleeker, and for many people, it was the last of the proper Jags. It was the last of the designs that really owed itself to Sir William Lyons. It still looked like the XJs of old. I mean, the next one along, the X350, did as well, but it was bigger. Like you say, I think the proportions are just a little bit better on the 308.
Yeah, I think so. Get that in black.
Oh, a black XJR X308. Oh.
Tan leather.
Naughty, that.
Lovely.
Tan leather. That's naughty. That's very naughty.
Yeah, it's a bit of me, that. Yeah, good choice. Good choice.
That would do, yeah.
Right. Let me shout out another one. I am going to go for the Mark 5 VW Golf R32.
Ooh. That's very specific, sir.
I've got nothing to base that on other than the fact that is a properly quick car for not a huge amount of money.
Oh, yeah. That's very, very fast car. Yeah. Faster than the GTI.
Oh, yeah. Because it's got the VR6 engine, four-wheel drive.
Yeah. Way faster than the GTI. Yeah.
And
that's a good choice.
For my I've said it before. I think Mark 5 Golf was my favourite vision.
Yes, I agree. It was best of the bunch by far, I think. Yeah.
And if we have a look, let's have a look in terms of the performance. No, wrong button. R32. Oh yeah, 3.2 VR6 engine. Nearly 250 horsepower. Four-wheel drive. Yes, please.
Yeah, it's a more discerning choice than the GTI as well, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I wouldn't turn down a GTI, but I think.
Oh no.
If we're going for something that I think will be future classic, I will say definitely R32. Like I said, that's based on absolutely nothing other than words falling out of my gob, but that's it.
I have driven a Mark 5 Golf, but not an R32 or a GTI. I think it was a GT, which was a diesel, which was not the same thing at all.
No, but I think we've all been in one and probably all driven one. They're nice things to go in and drive.
Yeah. Well put together. Interior's a bit boring.
Yeah. But
it's
very German. So
it's very German. Yes.
It's going to work.
Yes, that's true. Yes, and it's going to stay working as well.
Yeah. So, that's my top tip.
That's a good choice. I wouldn't have. I didn't think of Golfs at all, actually. Strangely.
Well, yes. The last time we did anything, we had crossover, didn't we? So this time is.
Yeah, we're not getting crossover here. Yeah, don't cross the streams, as they say.
That's quite. I agree entirely.
Yes.
Right. What have you got?
Right. You won't see this one coming. Well, on this list or down the road, probably, because they're getting quite rare now. But prices are still low, which is what makes me think it could be a future classic. I am going to go for the Volvo 480.
Yeah, you don't see those.
You don't. There are currently 3 on Auto Trader.
Bloody hell.
And none of them are more than $4,000.
Yep. So that's a really good shout. The troubled life, that one.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, it's a car that a lot of people have forgotten about, I think. It was very unusual for Volvo, precursor to the C30, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
In sort of size and style a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, pop-up headlights. Need I say more?
Well, it's good. So yeah, it's an odd one because it's made in the Netherlands in the DAF factory.
It was, wasn't it? Yes, I'd forgotten that. That's true. It was.
Oh God! But now, what was it? There were bits of it that were Renault.
It was a real parts bin car. Yeah.
And yeah, it was really difficult. It's one of those ones where you look at it and go, yeah, you can see why there aren't many of them now, but I entirely agree. Sorry, I know you probably said, but what sort of price point were we talking for the?
looking on Auto Trader, the cheapest is 1,900 and the most expensive is $4,000.
Okay, that is right in the realms of future classic.
I think it is. Yeah.
Buy it, tuck it away because it will rust.
Yeah, you need to tuck it away carefully somewhere dry, otherwise it'll fall to pieces. Yeah. I mean, there's one here on Auto Trader, which is a 2-litre limited edition GT car in a very nice metallic green.
Is it the two-tone?
Is it the two-tone? Let me just look at some pickies. It is not a two-tone, no.
No, I don't remember the two-tones. They were nice.
Yeah, no, this one isn't. 97,000 miles. It's 94 on an M plate. And they're asking 2,900 for it.
Yeah, that's good.
That looks really tidy.
If you can store that somewhere dry, save it for a nice day when you take it out. I think, I think you could enjoy money going up there.
You could do something like that. Yeah, really unusual car. And again, as I say, I think it's a car a lot of people have forgotten about.
Yeah, I don't think I've even ever been in one.
I definitely haven't. No. You used to see them around. It was one of those cars that was street furniture for a while.
Yeah, I remember my granddad wanted one. He was a Volvo man. He had several Volvos, but it got to the point where it was like they weren't the cheapest thing to buy at the time.
No. They were a little bit aspirational.
They were, and I think I got a feeling that was at the time where he was sort of umming and ahhing and then veered off right at the last minute and bought the. This is good. I think it was the first delivered Mark III Fiesta in Barnstable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Questionable choice.
I know. It's arguably the worst of the Fiestas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe he should have got the Volvo.
Yes.
I think the Volvo is a much more interesting car than the Mark III Fiesta.
Yes. Hindsight's wonderful, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Quite. Well, we've all been there. It's becoming rare because I think they're all rusting away to nothing. So get one while they last, I think.
At the risk of being potentially obvious here, and to please a dear friend of ours, I think the Toyota GT86 is a future classic.
Yes, that will please a friend of ours.
Yes, I don't think there's any question about it.
No, to be fair, there probably isn't. That's probably a good shout. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, there's nothing to not like there, is there really?
No. Japanese reliability, chuck in the performance element that it's got, and you go, well, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And it's all parcelled up in a rather lovely package to look at.
It is. That's true. Yeah, it's got it all, doesn't it, really? What sort of prices are we looking at the moment?
I mean, the absolute bottom end for, let's say, leggy and used. I'm sure when I looked last time, I saw one for 8.
Yeah, still pretty reasonable, isn't it?
But that's heavily used. That's a really early one, used to within an inch of its life. I think there was a slightly cheaper one that was Cat S.
Okay.
But yeah, the lower end, yeah, if you're sort of talking 7, 8, you're going to go, yep, that'll have been used.
Yes. Yes. The bit of track work going on there.
Well, the one I saw, actually, in fairness to it, wasn't so much it had been hammered. Someone had dailied it for a good 10 years.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, it's a Toyota. You can do that.
Yeah. but the mileage showed that. So
Yeah, no, fair dues. Yeah.
So I think
okay,
go for it.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
No. Well, that's good because I would have fought back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it would have been futile.
yes, that's right. Go on, where are you taking us now?
Right. This next one is the one that surprised me, and I think may already be an rapidly appreciating classic. I've left it in the list anyway.
Oh, it might have gone.
Because I think it might have gone. I wasn't aware that it had gone, but I've left it in the list anyway because I think you might be surprised as well at the sort of numbers that these are going for.
Okay.
And it's a very specific model of what it is.
Okay.
And that is the Rover Mini Cooper Sport. Now, this was the very, very last of the classic minis.
I've got, albeit by proxy, first-hand experience.
Okay.
I know full well that these have gone nuts.
Yeah, they have. And I didn't realise. I didn't know how these really have gone silly. As I say, I've left it in the list because I thought it was interesting to talk about. But yeah, the Mini Cooper Sports, which for my money are the best looking. I think the fatter tyres and the swollen arches and all that malarkey, bonnet stripes, spotlights, you got it all the standard. They threw everything at these last ones, and I have been in a couple of them actually from when I used to do the Grand Tour. Not that one.
Not that one.
No. Not the one everyone else knows about, the one we know about.
Yeah.
And they're a cracking little thing. I think they're a great looking car. But yeah, I wasn't prepared for what they've done price wise until I researched this. Yeah.
Go on then. What are they at the moment? It's been a while since I've looked.
We're 15 to 25.
Yep. Yeah, they've been rock solid at that for a long time.
Yeah. I was shocked. You can get other classic minis for a lot less than that, but the Cooper Sport particularly, one of the last ones, they've gone nuts.
Yes, they have.
Now they all, of course, are extremely rotty. So
God, yeah. I mean, you think they were made latest 2000?
2000 were the very last. I think there were a handful registered on in 2001, but they really were the last few. And
yeah, you're right. They still love a bit of rotting around the A-pillar. Love it.
Oh, all over the shop.
Yeah.
Don't park it outside ever.
Awful.
Yeah.
You would have thought they got the hang of it by now.
If you got a good one, I'm looking at one here in British Racing Green Metallic on Auto Trader, which is currently up for 15.9. It's 1.3 Cooper Sport, done 49,000 miles. It is absolutely immaculate, and it's up for 16 grand. So, yeah. Yeah. This one's had extensive work, it says.
Extensive work, okay. Well.
There's a whole new underneath, I suspect.
Yes.
But there you go. I hadn't realised that they, in fact, are probably not a future classic. They're probably a classic.
Yeah, I think they've probably departed. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's a reasonable shout.
I left it in the list because I thought that was interesting, not expecting them to be at the prices they now are. If you go for an earlier one, a lesser one, if you like, an ordinary Cooper or a Mayfair or something like that, then they are, much, much less than that. 1,500, 2 grand, 6 grand. There's one here. I'm looking at an ordinary Cooper. Those are a bit more sensible, but the Cooper Sports, the last ones have gone.
Oh yeah. Not for you.
Apparently not. No.
But yeah, no.
I had it in my head that they'd be cheap forever, but they're not.
No. No, I'm afraid not. You've overshot there.
Yeah.
I don't know what people's opinions will be on my next choice, but I think it's got potential.
Okay.
Again, this is based on nothing at all, other than other than me going, yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
What a reliable source of information I am.
Oh well, we hang on your every word, you know.
So, my suggestion for future classic next on my list is an Alfa Romeo Brera.
Ooh, that is an interesting thought.
Mm.
You don't really hear much about them anymore. You certainly never see one.
Nope.
Ooh, they are an exceptionally good-looking car.
Yeah, they are. And
Yeah.
price-wise, if you want the 3.2, the V6, you can go. You can get your foot in the door for about $4,000.
No. Wow.
Not, and that's not too shabby in terms of the one that I found for that was in reasonably good condition. Red exterior, black leather, manual.
Yeah. Okay.
What was the mileage on it? I think it's
Red with black leather is the correct choice. Well, either black with tan leather would be
also acceptable.
Also a good choice, but yes.
65,000 miles, full history.
Wow. $4,000.
$4,000.
Wow. You're getting a lot for that $4,000.
Yeah.
That's a very good choice.
Mm.
But will it be a future classic?
I'm gonna have a punt and say yes, but
yeah, it's a tough call, isn't it? Because Alphas can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
They either get revered or completely trodden into the carpet.
Yeah, I think. No, I'm going to say I think it's worth a punt.
The Brera certainly had quite a following when it first came out.
Thanks mainly to Mr. Clarkson.
I was going to say Top Gear did a lot to help that because they absolutely adored it.
Mm.
I mean, they adored most Alphas, even though they said they were rubbish. They still adored them. Yes. It's a good shout. It's a very good shout.
Yeah, I think that could butter the parsnips.
Neither of us has ever had an Alpha, have we?
No.
Although we have included them on a number of different lists.
I've never even driven one. There you go.
I have.
Actually, no, did I? Oh, I might have actually.
Well,
I think I might have driven a 159 actually. God, it's bad, isn't it? You can't remember.
Was the one I drove a 159? Let me just look. I can't remember. I'm getting them mixed up. Yes, I drove a 159, a T-Spark.
Nice.
A saloon. Yeah. The company I worked for had one as a company car. I don't know how that happened. the pool car for a while was
bold
a
choice.
159 T-Spark.
Really bold choice.
It was. That's a really bold for thrashing up and down the motorway and doing big mileage. That's a bold choice.
Mm.
I don't know how that happened, but for a while the pool car was an Alpha 159.
I just go, you know what? Oh, ever since I've looked at that Brera, man, that's a bit of me, that.
I would, I'd do 159 Sport Wagon, the estate.
Oh, I mean, great, don't get me wrong, but in the realm of future classic, I think the Brera will trump a 159.
Yes, but for me right here, right now, I would have the estate. Have the 159 estate.
There you go. The car I mentioned is still for sale. I've just sent it to you.
Oh no, don't be doing things like that.
Look at the silver wheels on that. Such definition.
Easy, Grandad. You're obsessed. Any red car with silver wheels, you start sending me pictures of it. Stop it now. However, that is disturbingly gorgeous. I mean,
Yes.
it's going to break, obviously.
Obviously, but that's fine. You factor that into the purchase.
Yes, it'll look nice on the driveway, even if it doesn't move anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Ooh,
Where are you taking it? Are we leaving Italy?
We are leaving Italy. My
Okay.
final two are not from Italy. Yes.
Okay, let's see what you got. What you got for us?
Okay. Which one shall I do next of the two that are left? Do I want to finish on a oh yeah, absolutely, or do I want to finish on a not sure about that?
Oh no, don't finish on a half-assed one.
All right, okay, I'll do that one next then. I believe this will be. I'm not sure everyone's going to agree.
Fine, go on then.
And you almost hit it earlier, but not quite. I'm going to say the BMW i3. See, you made the noise.
Yeah.
You just made the noise.
I made the correct sound. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's unique. It may be the only one of that sort of thing they ever do.
Mm-hmm.
I think as an electric car, it acquitted itself very well. It was very popular.
Yeah.
Both the pure electric and the hybrid versions.
I think it's a really interesting choice.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting car because it was bold and different. They dared to do something different.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like anything else.
Yeah,
and they're not going to do it again.
No, the more you try and sell it to me, I sort of accept it and go, yeah, all right.
Well, sales is part of my job. I think it's unique, and I think for that it was the first time they'd done anything like that. And all the sort of recycled materials, interior and things, I think was a bit, that was a bit kind of something and nothing. But
that was a bit wank.
The tweed dashboard, I was never quite sold on. I have been in one, and it was not the most comfortable car, I have to say. Seats were quite hard. But I do think, because of its uniqueness and because of when it was made, probably at a time where they'll never do anything like that again, I think it could end up a bit like the sort of M1 as a sort of, oh yeah, they did do that, didn't they? Yeah, it was quite unusual. It was quite cool in its time.
Yeah, that's close. I think.
So yeah, I think it could. Then not. They've not gone sort of dirt cheap, although you can get them for as little as $5 or $6 now.
Not too bad.
Both pure electric and range extender ones, because you could get it with a little engine that didn't drive the wheels but charged the battery.
I do recall, yes.
Yeah, so there's two versions of it, but get it in the right colour.
Yeah, you could be laughing.
Dark colour. I think that could go. That could be remembered as something a bit special. There is also, of course, the i3S, which was a little bit lowered, bigger wheels, bit, and that was the noise that it made. And
not bad.
No, it's a controversial choice, but I think
choice. Well, I'll take that. Right. Now, you've said you've gone for a dead cert. Can I be as bold and say, me too?
Okay.
Now, get them while they're hot, or not hot, as the case may be. Now, you could get yourself for, slightly higher price point than some of the other suggestions I've made, but still 4 figures. So, original Cayman 987 S with a 3.4. Get yourself a manual.
Obviously, it's a Porsche, so you've come up with a really specific spec.
No, you just want the original 987 Cayman as an S, 3.4 litre engine. They get that in a manual. Loads of them are manual. You're not, it's not slim pickings. If you don't mind some leggy miles, you can get one of those for £8,000.
Wow, they've come down in price, because we were looking at those for Dawn a little while ago, before she went for the Mazda, and they were still sort of 12, 15 then. Wow, they're coming down.
Yeah, I mean, granted, like I said, that is quite leggy, but
That's quite a leggy one, but yeah, okay.
It's got some good history with it.
Good history, yeah.
And it's really nice. Really nice spec, the one that I saw. It had a lot of money spent on it, well looked after. One thing that was just a clear indicator for me as well is it was quite an old car. It was a 2005 on a 55 plate.
Okay, yeah.
That's devastatingly ancient. You go, right, they've lavished on it. And in the advert, they've specifically taken a photo of each wheel and tyre to show that they've gone to the effort of making sure that it's got pilot sports all round. You go,
oh.
So they've not been skimping on it, and it's still an £8,000 car. And you go, right.
That's the person we can do business with.
Yeah, let's go and get one of those each, and I think everyone's going to be happy.
Everyone will be happy with that. Yeah, that's. If a car like that can come down to that sort of price, that's encouraging. Will it be a future classic though?
Oh God, yes. We will look back at that and go, why didn't we get one when they?
Why didn't we all buy one?
Yeah, and go, yeah, you know what, solid. Yes, it's got over 100,000 miles on it, but who cares?
Yeah, but once you get past a certain point, that doesn't matter. I don't think, as long as it's been looked after, the mileage, it genuinely is not as important as people think it is. Yeah,
and it was such a tasteful spec, that one I found.
Yeah, whoever ordered that did a nice job. Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought, why not?
That's really good.
That's proper driver's car, that.
Yeah, and you've not picked a 911. Probably because no 911 is really cheap enough to be on this list.
Probably not. You could maybe argue a 996.
Yes.
I think they will ultimately go like the rest of them have. But I think Cayman S 3.4 litre mid-engine flat six manual will probably be a better driving experience than a 996.
Yes, that's probably fair.
So yeah, okay. So there you go. I'm considering that to be a dead cert. So what is yours?
Right. Well, I think mine is, but we couldn't be further from what you've just selected.
Oh, can I just say as well, that ad where I said they'd taken a photo of the wheels and tyres.
Yeah.
The crest on the centre cap was pointing in the correct direction.
Oh, we like whoever that is.
Yeah. I don't know if we've ever mentioned that on the podcast. Rob might have actually, but you need to make sure that the tip of your Porsche crest is pointing at your valve cap. It's very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will bear that in mind.
Yeah, go on then. What have you got?
Wise words. Okay, yeah, this couldn't be further from that. This isn't that in any way.
Mm-hmm. But it's still a dead cert.
I think it is. And it's a car we've mentioned before.
Okay.
But it's a very specific edition of that car. Mm-hmm. And I am going for a Ford Mondeo ST220 Estate.
Yep.
They are getting super, super rare now.
Yeah, I can't fight you on that at all.
But they're still $4,000-5,000.
Oh, hang on then. I mean, don't get me wrong. That is good use of funds.
As we've said before, that is a car that will do everything.
Yeah.
And every time we bring it up, I don't understand why we both haven't bought one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably because there aren't many. I mean, there's only 2 on Auto Trader.
What, as in 2 estates? Or
2 estates, yes. The hatch is a bit more plentiful, but the estate specifically, because it was rarer to begin with, and why I'm choosing it as the Future Classic is because it's a little bit rarer.
So we do have to be mindful of the rot.
Again, we do, like so many on this list.
But it still doesn't detract from the fact that it is a solid choice. So correct me if I'm wrong then. Both of us have decided on our dead certs, which, I mean, to save a lot of back and forth and a lot of unnecessary arguing, have we just landed at our Future Classic 2-car garage?
I think we might have.
There we go.
A Cayman and a Mondeo.
Solid choices, I'd say.
Oh, there's something you could do anything with those 2 cars. Anything.
Yeah. I mean, you can do a speedy tip run on a weekday.
Oh, it's the most fun you can have doing a tip run with that, because as an estate car, it's massive.
Oh yeah,
it's incredibly practical.
But then at the weekend, you could go and be an exceptional tillerman doing some track work in the Cayman.
That's a bit of helmsmanry there.
Yeah, that's it.
Finding the upper reaches of the envelope. You got to be careful you don't disappear up your own tailpipe saying things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, to be fair, you could probably have a fair track day in the Mondeo.
Yeah, you probably could. Yep.
And you get a couple of slabs in the boot to give you that bit more traction.
Couple of what?
Slabs.
Oh, right.
Dear, oh dear. Well, mind you, it's a fast Ford, so you take your choice.
Oh no.
Oh, you've crashed the podcast again.
Deaf Grandad's gonna ruined it. Bloody hell.
No.
Right, okay, right, before it gets further in the gutter, that's it. That's 2-car garage. 2 garage. Oh god, I can't even do the word. 2-car garage perfection in Future Classic form.
Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.